talking about sun energy to each and every one of you guys. If this is your first time in my live, my name is Chief Apostle Samuel Jr. I am the apostle and pastor of Apostolic Faith of Jesus Christ Incorporated, and my beliefs are deeply rooted in the ATRs. The ATRs are the African traditional religions by which we harness, direct, and disperse energy, frequency, and vibration. To each and every one of you guys, first of all, I want to say salutations to my madrina, to my padrino, to my oba, and to all of my brothers and sisters in Ifa, Voodoo, Santeria, Lukumi, Congo, Palo, Mystic, and Adjay. For those that are in the church that are practicing the ATRs and spirituality, and those that have left the church and practicing spirituality, I want to say salutation to each one of you. All of my melanated people that are out here trying to understand what real magic is. I've been practicing magic ever since I was a child. I am 53 years of age. I want to share some things with you on today. This, as above, so below. This is sun energy. This is ruled by Leo. Also, Leo rules the heart. And I constantly give out information so that whether you work with me or working with somebody else or doing your own type of magic or your energy work, universal laws apply. I do not teach my personal beliefs. I do not teach my personal practice. But what I do teach is universal laws because they are applicable and apply to each and every person, whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced, whether you're on the sideline trying to utilize energy or magic in spells and spell crafts and prayers and rituals. Energy makes everything possible. And so the more you understand the energy, you know how to apply yourself in these particular traditions. One thing that I constantly try to do is inform people, depending on what you're trying to manifest and what you're trying to utilize to manifest has a lot to do with how you go about things. There are certain things that you want to do when it comes down to manifesting finances or manifesting healing. Me personally, I have been operating in my gifting as a child. And one of the things that I do on this platform is to try to bring awareness to melanated people that desire to have a better understanding. I utilize the Bible because the Bible is something that a lot of us grew up with, even though we don't go to church or we don't go to churches regularly. Let me explain something to you guys. This is a message that is very dear to my heart. It's things that I have been going through year after year before I got in pastoralship, before I just dealing with people. And I want to share something with you. If you are working magic or you're working conjure or you're deciding whether you should or not to utilize energy to manifest for you. Let me explain this. Today is Sunday. This sun energy. This is about solar power. This is about your solar plexus. This is your personal power. A lot of times when people get embarked into these ATRs, they're not necessarily looking for magic. Let me say that. They're looking for a certain outcome, which causes most people to overlook how it functions. If you want a marriage, but don't know how to function in the marriage, it serves you no good. If you want to get a job or start your own company and you don't know how things function and you want the idea of a job or the idea of a business, this is what hinders a lot of people in progress. When it comes down to spirituality, understanding how things connect, understanding why things connect, understanding why things are necessary, why it's not enough to purchase exercise equipment, knowing that you have no intention of actually utilizing it, and to label that particular equipment as unuseful, when the truth is you were not applying. I like to use the word applicable. When you apply principles, when you apply dedication, when you apply conviction, it puts you in the ballpark of manifesting certain probabilities. My subject today, whether you're in the church world or not, the universal concepts that I teach apply no matter whether you're on top of your game or whether you're at the bottom, whether you're on your way of climbing up or you're on your way sliding down. Universal laws apply. The moment you decide as an individual to utilize certain principles or respect those principles that are in play, then you can flow, and I like to use the word navigate in this life. I'm a Sagittarius. My moon is in Aries. My rising sign is Pisces. And I want to share this today with many of you all that will watch this and rewatch this at your leisure. My subject is no strings attached. And I want to talk about why people attach strings to people, to things, and places. The purpose of attaching strings a lot of time has to do with control and manipulation. When you are not secure in yourself, you're not secure. And a lot of people tell you, oh, I love me. You don't know enough about who you are and the multi-dimensional aspects of who you are to actually be able to declare that. The more I grow, the more I evolve, the more I understand how to love me, how to protect me, what's important to me. And when you can't answer those basic questions, I don't understand why you expect other people to be able to meet your needs when you don't really know what your needs are. You know what other people are doing that appears to you that makes them happy or makes them look successful or makes them look powerful. This is very, very important when it comes down to conjure, mysticism, and manifestation. Because you can actually manifest something in your life and it don't change the state of your life or the quality of your living. You can ask and manifest money, but you don't manifest enough money to actually change the quality and the direction of your life. So you're basically in the same situation and you put all that energy, that frequency, and that vibration into that manifesting because you lack understanding. One of the things that I try to give melanated people, and thank you for hitting that like button as you come in. Melanated people need to understand this. There's a base of foundation when it comes to magic. If you are in the Christian church and you grew up, especially in the black church, I'm homing on that first, that there are reasons why certain doctrines or the way that the word was utilized to keep you in search. So you would have certain expectations. You wouldn't have, it's just like the seasons that come. There are 4 seasons. You can expect there are certain periods where summer may be longer or shorter, or winter may be longer or shorter, but we all know every year in rotation, we're going to have them 4 seasons. How long it gonna be? Up to Mother Nature. But we know to expect that. When you understand science, when you understand the mathematics behind magic, then you are able to more so put yourself in position to live a certain reality that you actually desire. No strings attached. I'm going to be coming from Exodus 35, verse 5. Let me get my glasses. Exodus 35, verse 5. It says this: take ye from among you an offering unto the Lord. And whosoever is of a willing heart, let him bring it, an offering of the Lord, gold, silver, and brass. Now, the reason I'm talking about strings, if you get into spirituality, and among most black people and black American people, one of the deal breakers has always been with me. When people feel like they're not doing something willingly. What I mean by this, when you believe that you have a spell on you, you believe people are doing conjure to you. That means every act that you're doing, you believe that you're doing it under the influence of a spell or magic, which makes those actions, those words false. If you believe that you're in a relationship with me and I have you under a spell, then anytime you say I love you or I support you or I'm gonna be, all that's false. Because of the fact that you think there are strings attached to your life that are manipulating your thoughts, your emotions, and your feelings. I'm a Sagittarius. Let me tell y'all something. The power of freedom is to understand that you're acting on your own will. It's like when you get out your parents' house, whoever your guardian is, and you say, I'm free. What you're really saying, I am free to take responsibility for myself, what I have and what I don't have. A lot of people have been raised in the church and around the church idea of everybody is to blame for your reality, the things that you're going through. I believe that who the Son set free is free indeed. In this concept, once I have the freedom of thought, it is my responsibility to make sure that things that I'm thinking on are going to be beneficial to my reality. Which the scripture says it like this: whatsoever things that are lovely and a good report, brethren, think on these things. When you believe that strings are attached to you, whether you are on a job, whether you're in a church or a covenant, what you're doing is basically saying that the only reason you're giving is because you're under influence. The only reason why you in that relationship because you under the influence. The only reason why you are doing whatever or not doing whatever because you under influence. Who really wants to be in a relationship? Because there's a lot of conjure out there and a lot of prayer telling y'all about binding people and doing this XYZ to people. The point is, it's not them that's saying I love you. It's not them that of their own free will wanted to be with you. But you have strings that you're pulling in order to get them to be more favorable unto you. When it comes out, let me tell y'all something. I have my own church since 2001. And I want to say this. Just because somebody has the ability or the knowledge of something doesn't mean that they're implementing it in their life. I want people to be with me, around me, because they desire. When we talk about manifesting, there's certain aspects of life that you have to take control of. But when it comes to your home life, when it comes to your relationship, you want that to be organic. You want that to be natural. You want that to be of the if you don't, you might like me, but you only like me 50%. I could take that. Anything above that 50% is fake. If you like me, 30%. If that's all in your heart, I'm cool with that. I think that a lot of people think that you have to make people believe that you're into them more than you are. Expecting somebody to love you like they love somebody else is asinine. The story about Joseph, and what the area I want to point out, Joseph's brothers were loved by their father and their mother. Because of the fact that Joseph was born in a time that Joseph's father was up in age, and he had a sense of pride about that particular child being born around that particular time. You got to know why God favoring, or spirit or ancestors favoring people, and not to take any of that personal. And then you go out your way to pull strings to hinder that person's process. You pull strings to complicate that person's life because you lack the understanding why that person had that certain type of favor. I know we get out here where the church world where favor ain't fair. We love all these catchy phrases. We love how people say what we call oh, I know she said that, or they read that person. Let me tell y'all something. Even though it's done, I'm going to explain why it's done, and then I'm going to explain why I don't do it. When you feel, when you don't believe that you are acting on your own free will, it's easy for you to hear comments from other people that will cause you to deviate in those particular relationships. I don't care if it's a marital relationship. I don't care if it's sisters and brothers, or brothers, sisters. It doesn't matter, mother, father, children and parents, even on the job. When people cannot influence you or weigh on your conscience when you don't believe certain things yourself. A lot of problems that occur is because you have these thoughts in your own head, and then when somebody comes along and waters or fertilizes those thoughts, it causes a rift in your relationship. I've had people believe that I have put certain contra down in my church or around people to keep people coming to my church. So now they got to go out their way to prove to them people that either I'm not strong enough to influence them, or that they still gonna do what they want to do. You done totally disrupted the relationship that you have with said person. Me, I'm using myself as an example. When you as a wife believe that your husband has something on you, when you believe that your wife has something on you, let me tell you something. A lot of the accusations or the accusing that people do is really rooted in themselves. I'm gonna say that again. A lot of people accuse or blame other people for things because they think or feel that way. If they had the power, or if they had the opportunity, or if they were presented with the opportunity, they actually took it. So they're going to always be skeptical or open to hear negative. That's why when people do readings, and when you hear somebody that do a lot of reading, they always saying that somebody against somebody. Because the truth of the matter is, even in the church world, whether it's not in the church world, on the job, you love hearing, not like, love hearing somebody against you. If you're doing proper cleansing, if you're doing proper protection work, it's gonna throw off any of the ordinary mundane. I'm not talking about somebody waging war against you. I'm just saying everyday energy, frequency, and vibration that's out here in the world, whether you in the United States of America or whether you're on the job, whether you're in a walk in the park, that energy can be cleansed, be removed. You know, depending on the severity of the work, you may have to go further. When you don't live your life that you're saying to yourself, I want this I want what God got for me. That's the term we use. That means that you understand that every hill that's set, every hill that you come across ain't yours. God got a cattle on 1,000 hills, but that hill and that cattle, maybe the first 40 don't belong to you. And you should be good with that. Maybe the 41st hill and cattle belong to you. Maybe the first set of men don't belong to you, but the one that comes after that belongs to you. You're not out here sifting through stuff. When you don't have an understanding of who you are and why certain things are attracted to you, and you think somebody always doing some work on you, somebody always conjuring on you or praying on you, baby, I'm here to tell you, sir and ma'am, that's a miserable life. Everybody don't want to see you down. Everybody don't want to see you dead. Everybody, I've been accused of so many things. Sometimes people are saying things, they know what they're saying, but they don't know how ignorant it sounds. I'm going to say that again. When you make a choice, when you find yourself in a place where you can freely come and freely go, that means you have the responsibility how you enter a thing and how you exit a thing, because that's of your own free will. When you have a willing heart, you don't feel used. You don't feel manipulated. You don't feel like somebody getting over on you. Because you did that because you wanted to do that. You wanted to be a part of that. You wanted to participate. This is why I don't have a lot of issue with people, because I don't have certain expectations. I'm not doing things to have strength, and the action that I'm doing, they got strings attached to it. Some of y'all have not learned why not to do things with strings attached. You're not allowing the universe, the spirit of divine God to flow in your life, where you cast your bread upon the water and in not many days it return. That's free. You sow a seed and you reap a harvest. That's free will. That's natural. Being a decent person, being a not only friendly but being a friend. That those qualities, those disciplines that you partake in to be a good friend, or to be a devoted spouse, or to be a committed employee, or a astute businessman or businesswoman. But when you got all these agendas and you are utilizing your air element, or you utilizing your fire element, or your water element, or your earth element in order to ensnare people. I don't know if some of y'all ever fish, but when you put that string, Yes, you want to catch a fish. But when you do that to human beings and you set traps for them, that they find themselves in situations that they're not there because they want to be there, then they're gonna fight you subconsciously. Even though they may not be aware what's going on consciously, but subconsciously they understand that they are caught up in an energy entrapment. And this is why I want people to understand, I don't care if it's business, when it comes to prosperity, I don't care if it's healing, I don't care what it is. You want to do things with no strings attached. Giving people the freedom. When people support me, that's because they want to support me. When people are there contributing to my products and my services, that's of free will. I'm here to resonate who I resonate with. I'm not here to tell you how to think. I'm not here to tell you how to feel. I'm not here to tell you as an individual person what you need to be doing with your life. Because if I'm not your shepherd, you ain't gonna hear my voice. If you are really trying to grow and you really trying to develop, you will understand that certain things you shouldn't say. Thank you for hitting that like button. When it comes down to when you don't believe that, I put it down here, when you can't believe that you simply are resonating or attracted to someone or something. Can people do work to draw you? Yes. Can't nobody, I don't care if they're Ifa, Voodoo, Santeria, Lakumi, Obia, Kamdemle, Kimbanda, name your ATRs. The church magic, Hoodoo, Obia. Nobody can put love in your heart for somebody. I'm going to say that again. They can enhance it. They can make themselves more to be more attracted, that, and that's why it's so important to them to get the information about the things you like, because they're trying to conjure that attraction when you would not be naturally attracted to that person. I love the fact that people that support me really support me. I know this difference between somebody observing and watching and basically eating for free versus somebody that's actually trying to have some type of guidance over their life, somebody that's going to be consistent in their life, somebody that's going to be transparent of how this stuff really goes on. Thank you so much for joining. If you don't mind hitting that like button. In this spiritual journey, you have to ask yourself the question, are you trying to be popular? The fame that I have, the fame that has increased in my life, has been due to the fact of me being consistent of who I am and what I do. My works speak for me. I'm going to say that again. When you're trying to be popular, you're going to lean more to what people want to hear versus what people need to hear. And depending on where a person is in their life, is whether they're going to give ear to the person that's going to tell them what they want to hear versus if they're at a certain point in their life that of maturity, what they need to hear. When you want consistency in your life, you're going to go lean to the person that's going to tell you what you need to hear. When you want what you want, however you get it, then you want to listen to the person that's going to tell you what you want to hear. When you don't believe that you're just simply attracted or resonating with a person. It's not going to be hard for somebody to come along or somebody to get in your ear and complicate things. Have you mistreating or mishandling situation based off of you that done told you, especially in the church world, and it mostly happens with women. Oh, you more none than your husband. Being more known than your husband, making more money than your husband, has nothing to do with your commitment to that relationship. Who has more or less has nothing to do with the oath of commitment. If you are island unto yourself, then that matters. But when you as a person have decided to yoke up with somebody, when you as a person to say, oh, that's my friend. A friend stick closer than a brother. I think that melanated people and black people use certain terms that people have not earned. You call them friend. They're not a friend. They're associate. They're a person that they see a mutual benefit. But a friend stick closer than a brother. This is why there are certain patakis or certain stories of every ATR that gives us stories and examples of what to do in certain situations in the thing called life. When you making a transition, I want to talk to you guys about transition. And you trying to you walking by faith and not by sight, or you in a situation where nobody believes that you're coming out. You got to go within. This is something that I've learned, and my mom taught me this. When I'm going for something, I'm concerned about what I can do. And what I mean by that is, if I ain't got but $50, that's all I'm counting. If you come and say, Apostle Ely, I'm gonna give you $20. Apostle Ely, I'm gonna give you another $50. Apostle Ely, I'm gonna give $100. None of that means nothing until it is in my hand. A lot of y'all count y'all business before they ever hatch, and then you end up in disappointment. You don't you gave with a string, and now that when you pull that reeling rod back, ain't no fish on the end of that hook. Now you feel like you wasted your time. Do you not know many people feel like it ain't just magic, but just in everyday life that they feel like they wasting their time? Because they don't understand what it is to fish. You can go out there fishing and you be out there for 30 minutes and you've been catching. Then you can go out there another day and be out there almost all day and don't catch nothing. At that particular time, there was a school of fish coming through. At that particular time, you was in a space where they was habitating. And therefore, you had a quick response to your bait. It's like the story about the pool of Bethesda, that the angel stirred the waters. When you understand that and you get that concept, that's when you see manifestation. That's when you see turnaround. That's when you see things happening. But when you do things in your own time, in your own season, for your own reason, it may happen and it may not. This is why understanding seasons and times and how the moon works with it and how the sun works with it, the feminine energy and the masculine energy working together and allowing it to flow through your particular tradition. Whether you lighting a candle, whether you burning incense, whether you're doing a bath cleanser, whether you're doing it up on a certain phase of the moon, whether you're doing it at a certain time of the sun. These all things are important. But when you jumping from one system to the next system, you going from a 4-cylinder to an 8-cylinder. But you still trying to drive that 8-cylinder like you were driving that 4-cylinder, you're going to be a problem. Understand why you have growth. Understanding why strings that are attached to people. You're going to get upset because you did not do that of a willing heart. If you don't want to support your husband and wife to go back to school, don't do it. I've seen so many people try to grow off of other people. I remember telling my eldest son this, and this is just some wisdom for y'all. And he used to tell me when he was younger, he used to say, Dad, when I get rich, I'm going to do this, this, and that for you. And I told him, son, if you're not going to share your 50 cents with me, you're not going to share your dollar. You don't have to wait till you amass wealth or fortune to be good to somebody. I'm going to say that again. You don't have to wait till something dramatic happens in somebody's life for them to have the confidence that you're going to be there. But when you got strings attached to the things that you do, you're going to always feel some type of way. When your magic and your prayers are attached to people and places and things that you have ulterior motives, you're going to always feel some type of way. And let me tell you out there, most people feel like they're under attack because of things they have already done. I've never seen so many spiritualists. I was taught this quite young about doing proper divination or proper readings. When people tell their story, they come to you for help. They're going to leave out so much information. Very few people on planet Earth going to come and tell the truth. They're going to tell you what happened to them. They ain't going to tell you why. They're going to tell you about the condition they're in. But they ain't going to tell you how they got in that condition. Strings going to land a lot of you guys in situations and circumstances. And remember this. When you do things with strings attached, it's not easy to get out. I'm going to say it again. When you do things, no matter what it is, and you do those things with strings attached, you're going to not be able to get out of them so easily. And my encouragement on today is to have a willing heart. And the reason why I say this, if you're going to be a part of something, do it willingly. If you're going to interact, do it willingly. When you do your magic, don't look at it as an expense, the money that you're spending. Look at it as an investment. This is going to keep you from having different mindsets, different issues, different opinions about these said traditions. People need counseling. But a lot of people can't afford the counseling they actually need. People need healing. But the average person cannot afford the healing that they need. Let me tell you this. I've never been guilty of this. But I want to talk about it today. I don't string people along. A lot of times when people are trying to get to certain spaces and places in their life, they will string people along. People do it at jobs, promising people employment, knowing they have no intention of hiring those people. Stringing women or men along with the promise of marriage or the promise of taking care of them. There's consequences to stringing people along. People see a lot of times the benefit of stringing people along. You know, doctors string people along when it comes down to medicine. You going from this place to that place, or this surgery to that surgery, or from this type of medication to that medication. Stringing you along to generate revenue. I don't do that. If what I'm doing for you takes 48 hours to get done, I'm not gonna make it 3 months. If what I'm doing for you may take 6 months, I'm not gonna string you along for 2 years. Most of my revolving clients is because I do my work. I don't string people along. I don't string you along for your healing, your financial, whenever it happens. My numbers are 369. People go to my website, they order their services or their product, and we move right along. Because I'm a sage. I don't want nobody, I like my freedom. And in my mind, as quick as I get done with your work, it's the quickest I can free myself of that energy. A lot of time when people drag people along, they create other karmatic debt. Choice, your decision, but when it comes down to real magic, real conjure, real mysticism, it's all about those strings. Who's pulling those strings? Who's plucking those strings? Who creating those vibrations because of those strings? Stringing people along when you know you only going, let me tell you, I'm only going to be in this 6 months, or this is only a sex thing. I think that most people, if they had the ears to actually want to hear truth, they could avoid so many issues that they accumulate in relationship or interacting with people, especially when it comes to the spiritual stuff. Let me say this to melanated people. It is not wise to enter into the ATRs having the mindset of doing things with strings attached to it. A lot of times in the church world, all they can really do to you is talk about you. Just being straight up. Very few pastors and leaders and churches really have power outside of, their ability to manipulate their congregation. But there are people that can make some stuff happen when you were doing things not of a willing heart, but with strings attached. We're not talking about people that pay for services and expect those services to be done. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the things that you're being asked to do, or you're being you're a part of something. You got to do it with a willingness. If I can do something, I do it. If I can't, I can't do it. And that's even me as a leader, as an elder. So why wouldn't other people be in those type of situations? You know what I'm saying? Some days are better than others. We're in the tax season. A lot of people gonna be doing stuff with strings attached. I'm gonna spend this money, but I'm expecting you to do XYZ. Magic ain't no different. When you out here doing conjure, and you out here praying, and you out here advocating for certain things, I want y'all to really understand that melanated people are doing magic, doing conjure, interacting with people because they were trained to do things with strings attached. I'm here to liberate. I'm here to give you a better understanding why you can actually involve yourself in something and not be as hurt or as disappointed as a lot of these people are experiencing. And that's really because when they doing, just like in the church, you gave your tithe, your offering with strings attached. So you expected certain things for the church to do for you. You get into the ATRs, you give your direct show, you give your you do your elbow. You're gonna do it with strings attached, and that's gonna bring complication to your life. If you want, and that ain't for everybody. If you want to develop when it comes down to conjuring, and you want a understanding of how to, I'm gonna say this. I've said this before. There are people that literally think I'm upset with them because they made a decision to do something else or go another way. Freely you came, freely you go. Because God shall provide for me. Divine shall provide for me. Ancestors shall provide for me. So I don't have to have my emotions attached to your decision. I don't have to have my thoughts attached to your decision because it does not hinder my manifestations. And a lot of people let situations happen naturally without having adverse feelings to situations. A lot of times when you talk like this, 1 minute there's like, oh, you got them up on a spell, and then the next minute you let them go, then they say you ain't never cared. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't accuse somebody for having strings attached to you and manipulating you and pulling strings with you, and then when you find out later that they never had any of that going on with you, now you want to act like they're acting funny. Before you accuse somebody of something, know what you're talking about. Don't go based off of their abilities, because that's what I've been blamed for most of my life. Because I do have the abilities, I do have the skill, I have the knowledge to do that type of work. I just don't do it. I want people, I'm a sage. I want people in my life because they want to be there. I want people a part of what I'm doing because they want to be there. I want people supporting me because they want to support. I'm not interested in doing those other types of work because I don't want the repercussion for that kind of work. I don't want you around me because you feel stuck. I want you around me because you want to be there. Because one thing I love about my platform, I don't have to change my personality. A lot of time people are portraying certain personas in social media. It's because that's what people are attracted to. When they meet those people in reality, they ain't nothing like that persona that they display on social media. And that's whether it's in a relationship, a man or a woman put on their best behavior, so to speak, in order to be more inviting to that person. But they not like that in real life. I have the pleasure and the opportunity to be my authentic self. This is why I'm very transparent on my platforms when it comes to conjure. And I've said it before and I say it again. I was conjure. I was magic when it wasn't even cool. When it wasn't trendy. Everybody wasn't trying to put their hands in it now. It's not as embarrassing as it was then. It's not as much drama that comes along with it now. I've been committed to this with no strings attached. I've been committed to conjure and manifesting with no strings attached. Energy, universal law is energy out, energy in. If you don't want certain complications down the road, I'm not, y'all grown. Do what you will. But I encourage you, certain men, to take out the time to decide whether I'm gonna attach a string to this $5 I'm giving, this $20 I'm giving, this $40 I'm giving, this $100. If there are strings attached, you set yourself up for a problem. Most black people say the things like that. Oh, I don't want you to do that if you're gonna talk about it. Usually that's because they do stuff and they talk about it. A lot of times we projecting on people what we done did in the past, and we just don't want to be done to us now that we're in the need, now that we're going through something. Before you ever find yourself in some of these situations or scenarios, just discipline yourself. Keep in mind it could be you one day. I guarantee a lot of decisions that people are making in life, if they were thinking like that, that could be me one day. How would I want that to go down? I could do destructive work. I have done destructive work. But do I go around trying to destroy every person, place, or thing? No, I don't. There's a time and a place for every attribute and talent that I have. And this is what helps you to be healthier as you grow and evolve in magic. Because you're going to get older and older and older, and you don't want the karmic debt to follow you from one year, from one decade of your life to the next decade of life. And if you pass away, that debt follows you into the grave. You don't want to do that. That's why you need to be taught, you need to be considerate, you need to be thoughtful, you need to understand universal laws, you need to understand why people like me come out here and say these things to you. So you have the ability to make better choices. I'm not going to make a decision for you. I'm a Sag. I believe in freedom of thinking, whether I agree with you or not. But you have the right to your own thoughts, your own mindsets. But I'm giving knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. If you find it applicable, if you find it useful, if you find it in a way that you deem fit to utilize today or tomorrow, utilize it. Because this makes the energy field of melanated people better. People like me get out here on social media and share knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And it helps a lot of people. And they're constantly saying, Apostle Eli, I really appreciate and thank God for you doing this, because I didn't know this. But you have to find your way up under some type of tutelage. Whether you know this or not, I didn't just jump out here on social media. I've always been up under somebody. That's where real growth is. That's where correction comes from. This is why I'm so effective in the things that I do. This is why I'm able to weather my storms. I'm not of my own opinion. I'm going to say that again. I am not of my own opinion. People can show you candle work, incense work, floor washes, sprays, all of that. But if you doing all that with the strings attached, after a while you're going to create a web that you're going to get caught up in. Some of us call we reap what we sow. No, you done tied yourself to certain people, places, and things because of those strings. Some people call them chords. I'm just calling them strings for my message. But they can be chords, ties. People talking about soul ties. Every time you share your energy, whether it's through a thought or a spoken word or action you take, those are soul ties. It ain't just having sex with somebody that creates soul ties. The interaction of how you do things create soul ties. And in order for you to be able to move on, you got to sever those cords or those strings. But if you don't set out to do that, or set out to do and say things with strings attached, then you don't have that to worry about. All right? A willing heart. My support that I have comes from people that have a willing heart. It is a benefit. There's people get blessed because they normally giving or supporting out of a cheerful spirit, and that's really good energy. When people are grateful, when you're sharing things, and when they're getting their work done, and they show gratitude for what you do, that's positive energy, and that energy magnetizes over a long period of time. And that's why some people like me carry a lot of good karma, and I call it spiritual credit, where they're able to manifest and do certain things. Okay? Teaching every one of you guys, I want to say thank you for those that hit that like button, hit those shares. In spirituality, know that the principles and the stories or the parables that are given are for our personal benefit, for the things that we need to do in life. So don't look at it as because every system has it. Every system, magical system, has certain rules and regulations and laws, and it's actually for the benefit of the people that are participating in that particular practice. Everybody has their own viewpoint depending on their gift, their talent, their measure of gift, and their jurisdiction or their favorability. And these are the things I want you to be aware of. And so whether you decide to work with me or somebody else, understand what you're getting involved in. Understand Ifa is Ifa, Voodoo is Voodoo, Hoodoo is Hoodoo, Christianity is Christianity, Islam is Islam. But they're all universal truth that for any of these philosophies to exist, they got to have it. So whether it's about Peter and John, Matthew and Luke, or whether it's about Gabriel, Michael, Uriah, Hannah, or Kabbalah, because that's I was raised up in Kabbalah as well, Mosaic, magic. But all these systems are supported by your personal energy, your solar energy, your solar plexus. And this is what allows you to either interact with other energies or get work done for you and become receptive of that particular working. Because a lot of time people getting work done, they don't know how to receive the actual manifestation of that particular work. So all that's in learning. All right. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your love, your consideration. Thank you for the likes and the shares and the comments on my videos. To each and every one of you guys, my name is Chief Apostle Samuel Jr. I'm 53 years of age. I've been doing magic since I was a child. I'm initiated in various traditions. I'm also crowned in Santeria. And I want to encourage you, magic can be a beautiful thing. But there's a lot of ugliness out there because of people that have not worked out their own personal issues, and they display it on the social media platform in a various of traditions. In my book, the pot can't talk about the kettle. Whether you're in Ifa, Voodoo, Santeria, Christianity, Islam, Kabbalah, it don't matter. You know, we are the people that reflect these traditions. We are the people that give people insight based off of how we conduct ourselves. So hopefully, what I taught today will give you a better eye opener of your intention and why you do things and why things happen the way they happen, based off of strings. When you attach strings, it's harder to break. All right? God bless you.